100% beef.
It's been too long. Wait.
Yeah. Wait, can you mute him?
I can do all things through Christ, man.
And Zoom.
Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast. We have been away for several weeks. We have been on vacation. We have been enjoying retirement. We have been doing, I don't know what Wade's been doing. Wade, what have you been doing these past?
None of that.
None of that?
No. I've been working like a dog.
Working like a dog. Your dog looks pretty lazy over there, though. What are you talking about?
Well, he doesn't work much. I do that for him.
Okay. All right. It's
working
been
like he ought to, right? Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a few weeks, and we are here for actually episode number 40 of the Almost Perfect podcast from Corpus Christi, Texas. And we are so glad to be with you. I am John, and Brad is here with us. Brad, how have you been, brother?
I'm doing great, man. I'm back from vacation.
Where'd you go?
I went all over the Midwest and the Deep South and came back into Texas and 8 states, 3,300 miles. And yeah, it's good to be home sleeping in my own bed.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, welcome home. I'm glad you got to be away. Wade is here with us. Wade, have you only been working like a dog?
No, I traveled a little bit. I've been to Austin a few times for a couple of events, and I'm content with what's going on this summer so far. So I'm glad to be back with you because I haven't really had a foil for my odd sense of humor. So
we are quite the bunch, aren't we?
What's going to happen today?
Well, it's already been an exciting 20 minutes before we started officially.
Yeah.
So at home, just know. And of course, newly retired, don't know what to do with my life right now. Tom is here with us. Tom, what's going on? What's this look on your face, brother?
Yeah, I was going to say, just happy to be doing something this morning. It's like I've never done anything for the last 3 weeks, and finally you guys welcome me back. Thanks. No, it's been great. It's really been great. Love, no surprise. I've been to a few baseball games, taken a few people, even caught a home run ball. I actually caught the ball. It was.
Oh, no.
What?
Amazing.
Man.
Yeah.
That's the end of it. He caught the ball. That's the end of the story.
You're very stoic, Tom. What's up?
Yes.
Well, we'll let Tom get back into the game. What happened? He was doing so well. So anyway, and in this 3 weeks, guys, that we've been away, at least on the podcast, there've been a lot of things happening. What's caught your attention on the news the most lately?
I don't watch the news. Is that wrong?
What's going on in the world that you've paid attention to lately?
COVID numbers I'm a little concerned about.
Right.
Unemployment. I mean, this is really strange. The biggest thing we found in our travels was the number of restaurants that had a hard time getting people to just, come to work. I mean, they had folks that were hired, but they didn't show up for work and shutting down kitchens and shutting down restaurants and that kind of stuff. It was just really weird. Hotels having a hard time getting people to come in and work.
Yeah, I've had the same issue with one particular position in my place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Brad, we noticed that too when we were traveling around. We went to a Taco Bell once, and we were like 30 minutes, waiting for food. It was, the line had 10 cars. We were inside. We were one of 2 people in there, and just took forever. And everybody's got help wanted signs. So I don't know.
I know
quite what's going on, but man,
they have good food at the Taco Bell. I've never been there.
That's the first time I've been in Taco Bell in probably 3 years, and it was edible. Yes.
Wow.
It was edible. That's about all I'll say.
Dude, next time we get together, you should do some restaurant reviews. Start with.
We should do that.
Like some unconventional restaurant reviews.
There you go. Right.
Oh,
okay.
Yes, we could find something to do like that. Well, I will tease my son because as we were out and about, we'd go to different restaurants, different places, and he was doing sort of quick reviews of French fries and burgers or whatever else he got. So I can take inspiration from him. So yeah. I'm like you, Wade. Those numbers creeping up. I'm like, wait, what's going on, right? I'm also kind of on the fence. I read an article. I don't know if you and we all talked about this or not, maybe back in late January or February, where it laid out the upcoming seasons, right? Fall, spring, summer, fall of this year. And it was a group of scientists that kind of said what we could expect. And essentially it was back then, it was in spring, it's going to kind of still be lockdown measures and it's going to begin to open up. This year's summer should be better than last year's summer. And then come into the fall, we should expect an uptick in numbers before we get to January of 2022. And that things should be back to what we keep calling normal. So I'm trying to decide if we're seeing that, what we're seeing now is that uptick that they are talking about, or if we are seeing, the consequences of something else that isn't as hopeful, or maybe even, I don't know, anything we can do about right now. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I've been watching that too. And of course, Olympics started this week, right? Last week?
They did. They did.
Are you guys big Olympics watchers?
Yeah, I haven't even had a chance to do that this week. I've been back trying to get back in routine and all, and I've been watching a few of the headlines, and that's about it. I haven't seen a whole lot.
We lost an opening round men's basketball team.
France. I did read that. I'm kind of upset with that, but I probably watched all of about 5 minutes of different events over the last, and even, including opening ceremonies, right?
Yeah.
I just haven't been that tuned into it this year. I don't know why, but
I watched the opening ceremonies. I thought they were very well done, given that.
Yeah. Lisa showed me something last night on the news news feed that she had about the skateboarding events, and the one guy that had a very unfortunate incident with a handrail. Yeah.
I did see that. Yes.
Oh yeah.
And we went, ow, and that, ow.
That was nutty.
I didn't want to see the numbers, the score. I didn't know. Didn't even want to go there. But yeah, I didn't even know skateboarding was in the Olympics this year, and I guess it is. So that was pretty wild.
Oh yes, that's nuts. All right.
Yeah.
So how about this before we get into our topic? Because usually I like to give you guys some stories from around the world that I think are helpful. I started doing this a long time ago when I worked with youth. Always trying to find, different things kind of serve as illustrations. And I just, I'm just used to looking for stories no matter where they come from. So I'll let you decide.
This is my favorite part of the podcast, by the way.
Is it? Okay, very good. So I'll let you decide which one we want to meander through. Man with COVID disguises himself as wife to board flight. Or smell you later. The weird science of how sweat attracts.
Keep going.
Those are 2 options. That's all I got for you, Brad.
Man.
I'm gonna go with sweat.
Sweat. Okay.
Yeah.
Smell.
And I'll go with the other one.
Oh, don't do that.
Brad,
that means I got to be a
Brad. You've got to break the tie.
No pressure. Either the guy, the old guy, or me.
The out of touch guy, the guy who doesn't care anymore. Yeah, remember that. I don't care.
Can I abstain? Is that an option?
This is not.
Well, that sounds like a vote for sweat, because that's where the stain comes from.
Oh, there you go.
Especially around the abs.
That's clever.
Oh, okay.
Now
talk about sweat.
There's one for Tom. Good job, Tom.
Mine is still a little bit impressive.
Yeah.
All right. So smell is often dismissed as the least important sense, but it's the funk that draws us together. So I'm going to give you the short. It's a pretty long article, at least for us to look at right now. And essentially, and this is based out of Russia, in Moscow, but people are, I want to read a couple of things from you.
Having lived in Russia, on Saturdays when everybody's coming back from the dacha on a train and or ship or tram, I can just tell you that one of the things about Russians, at least in the 1990s, was they didn't use deodorant. I mean, that was very evident.
So that's part.
Anyway, go ahead.
That's part of the story. It was their method of Tinder, I guess, for them.
Well, that is part of the story. They're creating smell dating events because, if I'm going to be with someone, I need to be able to withstand their body odor. right? And if I can't stand it, or if I don't like it, why would I want to be with this person? Why would I want to have companionship or even intimacy with someone whose body odor I cannot stand? And so essentially,
Does this preclude bathing?
I don't know. I haven't been there. Ask Tom should know.
I would say yes, that is correct.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so essentially you got people who are going around sniffing each other's armpits to kind of see, hey, let's take this a step further. Let's have dinner.
Or as we call it, speed dating.
I want to change my vote. Let's talk about the guy in the airport.
But come on, don't other species of
Wait a minute, that's a stolen election.
The only criterion for a romantic match in this scenario is scent, which is about as logical as any other dating filter. I mean, who cares if you both share a love of taxidermy or the novels of Haruki Murakami? I don't know who that is. Thank you. You'll eventually smell the body odor of your lover, and it's probably going to be a make or break moment. Smell dating skips to the chase, or more accurately, it entirely skips the chase and uses body odor as the first elimination round for mate selection. There you go. There you go.
And considering that's coming out of Russia, having lived there, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Oh, Tom, we're going to take that point away from you, Tom. Don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. So you don't think this has any merit for us over here? You can't, go to your significant other and say, your smell did it for me.
Well, I can guarantee you that it means it's more significant for women than men, and from the way food smells to the way you smell. So
I really do want to go talk about the guy.
Well, that story's a lot easier. There's a guy he had COVID, but he really wanted to travel, go do something. I don't know what he had planned. And so he took his wife's credentials and he put on, her outfit and covered himself up. And he was caught because he was changing in the lavatory and the plane. And so they arrested him there. Yes. And he tested positive for COVID on the, as a result after the plane. So that story, come on, Brad, come on.
Nobody sniffed his armpits, so I'm okay with that story. I don't know.
That's the new way to test.
That's an assumption, yeah.
That's the new COVID test. Is that what you're saying?
I think so, because didn't you hear about? Aren't there like dog sniffing dogs, COVID sniffing dogs now? Have you heard that?
That I have not heard.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. So be careful what those dogs are sniffing for at the border in South Furious. So. All right. Brad's tired of talking about armpit odor, so we'll carry on. So what we want to talk about today, which is something I think is important for a lot of us, is the issue of doubt. Guys, why do we give Doubting Thomas such a hard time?
Because he's like us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that we don't necessarily give him a hard time because, most of the time we start out with that statement, but then we acknowledge that he was asking the questions we would be asking.
Yeah. Yeah.
We give him I think historically preachers, and I think we're better at this nowadays, but we historically give Thomas a hard time, and Jesus doesn't even do that, really.
Right.
No.
Where do we get the name Doubting Thomas from?
Well, obviously from the upper room after the first resurrection appearance, when Thomas wasn't there and they told him all about it when he did show up, and then Jesus shows up, and why did you doubt but believe? Yeah. That's the essence of the story. But I think his basis is true. I mean, he has no real reason to believe a story. because he wasn't there when it happened originally. And so he has no real reason to want to believe. And I use the word reason, especially because belief is not necessarily always based upon scientific empirical data. And so you've got a guy who's saying, prove it. Go ahead, prove it to me. Until I can prove it myself, I don't believe. And I think that's true of a lot of us. And I don't know if that started again in back in the Enlightenment. We started having doubts about everything. For the modernist period, where science and fact were things that we had to be able to prove in order to believe, and couldn't take anything on just verbal word, or postmodernism, and all of even that's under question now. I don't know. It's interesting, but I think we're all in that situation. I think y'all are all exactly right. We don't give Thomas as hard a time as maybe we used to, or the church used to, because there's too much of us in Thomas, or too much of Thomas in us.
Yeah. So whoever just said it, preachers, that's like that's a big swing we like to take. Don't be Thomas, right? Don't be like Thomas. Stop doubting and believe. I mean, we want to recite Jesus, but man, I mean, there is something, I don't know, freeing in kind of identifying with Thomas and seeing how willing he was to tell the rest of the disciples, hey, unless I see it, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
But then of course John anticipates, before modernism, before everything else, that people will have this doubt, just like Thomas, right? I forget how he says it, but essentially, how Jesus says, you're blessed because you see, but blessed are those who don't see and still believe, right? I think that's kind of getting at that sense that there are going to be plenty of people who come after who have not had the opportunity to see what Thomas has seen and the other disciples have seen, but have still chosen to believe. So they've been able to, I don't know, work through doubt or fear or whatever it may be. But so for us today, though, doubt, how do you guys define what doubt is? I guess, I don't know if we need to say specifically for when it comes to faith or not, but what do you define, or how do you look at what doubt is?
Well, part of that deals with character. That certain events or statements create this bubble of doubt. And what I mean by bubble is kind of like, we're used to the idea now of isolation bubble, this separation from, but something between you and me, and I'm in the bubble, you're out of the bubble. But anyway, that sense of there's something that has happened or been said that creates that I'm not sure if I can trust this person, or I can trust what this person is saying. And certainly we live in an environment, the public arena right now is full of doubt, and it deals with something has been said and I question that. It doesn't mean that I necessarily disagree. It means I haven't come to a place where I have confidence in what you're saying or what you're doing.
I think it also is a point in which we challenge, when we come across something that challenges our own experience.
Okay.
It's not been my experience that is the way that this happens. So I'm kind of doubting what you're saying. It's something that throws us into maybe a new situation where we have to reevaluate our own experiences in light of this new information. How do we frame that? How do we understand that? How do we come to terms with something that's new to us that doesn't fit anything that we've ever experienced before? And the first reaction, I think, is a reaction of doubt. That's new to me. I'm questioning that now. And part of what it is the first reaction is I have to protect what I understand because my experiences are real to me. And this is not real to me yet. And I think there's a long process of that doubt and how that doubt begins to get worked through where I begin to question, okay, so maybe I haven't experienced everything, so that when I hear these kinds of things, maybe this is truth, or there is some truth to this. I don't know. It's just it's an experiential thing.
I think the human condition is to be curious,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think you can be curious without having a healthy doubter in your mind, and because I think some of the disciplines about our world are based in doubt. I think science is based in doubt and trying to prove things, and and faith to me isn't the absence of doubt, because I am more doubtful about things of God now that I have spent 20 years with this being my study and my vocation, but my faith in that God is who God says God is stronger than ever, because I've been able to exercise my doubt, and I'm comfortable going. For me, in my faith journey, God's real, and I don't know how or why sometimes, that sort of challenges me to dig deeper, doubt is for me isn't turning my back on my faith. It's exercising my curiosity to bolster my faith. But at the end of the day, there's this thing where I've just got to make a choice, and I choose to. I don't know if I like the word believe. I choose to cooperate. Because most of the questions about sort of the tangible or static things about who God is are hard to believe sometimes, but if I choose to believe and choose to cooperate and continue to question, I just think, when you're in a relationship with somebody, that grows and gets deeper and ebbs and flows with the way that you become to know one another on, more and more detailed and intimate planes. And so, I think doubt is a very healthy thing. I think expressing doubt and digging into questions is a very Wesleyan thing to do. I remember when I was in seminary, and I have passed this along to my congregations over the years. I want you all to be Methodists, and that's not just Methodism with a small or with a capital M. It's a small M. I don't want to teach you what to believe. I want you to teach you how to think about belief and how to think about some of these concepts that we sometimes just sign on to without sort of accessing them for ourselves. And to me, that starts with doubt or with questioning.
I don't remember who it was or where it was that I read it, but I just remember hearing doubt is honesty. And that's helpful for me because, I came into the faith pretty cynical. Well, I'm still cynical. I came into the faith kind of, doubting a lot of stuff, but learning to kind of work through that and to be honest with it. I think there was a sense that I got from some people that, oh, no, you don't question God. No, you can't even voice that stuff, right? You can't do that. But when I learned that, God can handle that, right? Let's have these conversations. And that became something freeing for me to be able to work through, so that doubt became a process of discovery, right? And you'd have these doubts about whatever it may be. And kind of what you're saying, Wade, I think, by asking questions, by seeking wisdom, by being in fellowship with the church and learning and hearing from the experience and the witness of other saints, that that doubt gets transformed, and you begin to understand that maybe what you were thinking is just, it was where you were, and there was something else that you hadn't seen yet that, that would open your eyes. So, is there a time when doubt is hurtful to us?
Certainly in a relationship, when you express continued doubt about the character of the person in front of you, that can be painful and hurtful. And sometimes, you said that doubt is honesty, and I don't know that that's always true. Doubt is doubt, but sometimes it can become a barrier to truth, and also a barrier to relationship, and it can be a way of keeping people at a distance without honestly examining some of your basic doubts and why you hold those doubts. And so, the simple answer to your question, though, is simply yes, it can be hurtful and damaging in certain places. That doesn't mean we shouldn't doubt. We need to recognize it has its limitations.
That sounds like doubt as a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah, exactly.
From anyone getting close to you, or you getting close to them, or, if we're talking about our walk with God, from us, approaching these harder, tougher, deeper topics. So we're going to use doubt as a defense mechanism. I'm just not going to believe anything. Well, yeah, that's not helpful, right? What do you think, Brad?
I think you're right. I think that's a big part of it. Doubt can be damaging when we become so threatened by, I go back to that experience thing, that when we become threatened by that which shakes us to the very foundations, we can become very defensive in that and actually shut down. And, in the instance of another personal relationship, of course, trust becomes an issue. If I'm having questions about who I understood us to be or you to be in our relationship, I now have an issue of trust. And if I have an issue of trust, I've got to protect myself and defend myself. And that's just a natural thing. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to survive this no matter how it happens. And that becomes an issue of shutting out, and it reduces the capacity for reconciliation, for any kind of healing and getting back together. So I don't know. I think it can be very easily something damaging, because it also tends to make us, I hate to use the word, but it makes us closed-minded. We shut ourselves off and say, no, I'm not going there. I don't want to go there. And I think that's a lot what Thomas did in the upper room there, when the disciples are trying to explain to him, look, this is what happened. Jesus came to us and he showed us his wounds, and he showed us everything. And he told us that he's been resurrected, and we saw it. And we were there, and he was there. And Thomas said, I don't know, man, I can't go there. I got to see it. And until I do, I will not believe. And it would be, that next week Jesus shows up, and there he is. And Thomas is the attention of Jesus. Thomas is the target of Jesus. He comes across the room to him and says, touch me. Look at my hands, feel them. Put your hand in my side, feel it. This is me. I am real. I am alive again. And Thomas doesn't even need to do that. He just admits it, my Lord and my God. Everything, all the assumptions that he had before that, all of his understanding of experiences, people who are crucified do not rise again, are suddenly thrown out the window. And did that damage him? I don't know. History says no. History says that Thomas went on to become one of the more fervent apostles. But here again, is that just the situation between Thomas and Jesus? Yeah, but can it be the same between us and someone we are having an issue with, a broken relationship with? Can it be something between ourselves and God? Absolutely. Can that be damaging when we shut it down?
I always wondered what Thomas was thinking, or maybe any other interactions that he had in that week. When he first says, nah, unless I see it. And then when he's in the room again, what happens what's going on? And, he had spent, however much of his life with Jesus and his disciples doing all these things. And then now his doubt takes center stage. What was that week like for him in between? Right. And, maybe that's a helpful thing for us to consider, like, if we're walking through that. So I guess maybe the big question I would like us to maybe think about, and that might be helpful for people, is can you have doubt and still trust God?
Yes.
Okay. How do you do
Yeah,
that?
we've all lived with that. I mean, at some point,
how do you live with it?
Well, I was thinking, it depends on what you mean by trust. I mean, foundational to my faith is this confidence in God. Now, there's these moments where I kind of take, say, instead of Jesus take the wheel, it's Jesus give me the wheel back kind of moments. But at the simple truth of the matter is there's this wrestling that goes on between the culture around us, the people that hang out with, the moments where doubt begins to creep in. But for me, it's in those moments that I have to go back to a couple of solid foundations, at least for me. One is experiential. I experienced the love of God in a way that was, for me, substantial and dramatic. But the other is that's the feeling side. But the other side of that is the part that says this is actually reasonable. It's reasonable that if there is a God that who has created this world, and it is reasonable that he would send a messenger into our world who would be Emmanuel, God with us. I mean, it makes sense that if God is personable and powerful and all of these things, that he could send someone into our world to be substantial, meaning have its substance, and then that there would be a way of communicating that, and that's why we have the scriptures. We have people who have, like Thomas, who have seen him, put their hands in his side. And John is really, he hits on that over and over again. So he's saying this isn't just a hallucination. This isn't just something that a dozen guys got together and became co-conspirators in order to advance a belief system. This is a group of people, both men and women, who have seen Jesus alive and now are bearing witness to that. And you can do a lot of things, but you cannot unconvince a person who has actually experienced that. And so John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, Paul, Peter, all of them come to the same place, same foundational place, that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of the living God. And this is substantiated by his presence and then his represence through the resurrection.
There was a movie about 5-6 years ago called Risen, and
oh yeah, love that one.
It's a great story of a centurion who's a fairly high rank.
Yeah, he's more than a centurion.
Yeah, well, he's Pilate's right hand man. He's the fellow that is charged with trying to prove whether or not Jesus actually did resurrect. What happened to the body? Where did he go? Find the body. We've got to get this taken care of. And through a series of all kinds of adventures and such of trying to locate Jesus' body, he actually encounters Jesus and his disciples, resurrected Jesus and his disciples, and has a conversation. And it totally transforms him. It totally changes him, because everything that he had known about crucifixion, about what happens to a body after it's crucified, is thrown out. absolutely thrown out, and all of his presuppositions on Roman, law and Roman everything, all of it, the authority, the power, the whole thing is totally cast aside, and you see him, eventually begin to shed all of those Roman trappings of officership, of his rank and stuff, and he becomes a follower of Christ himself. It's a great definition of trying to wrestle with those doubts that you have in your own mind. And it's something I think we all have to deal with in one way or another. What are we bringing as presuppositions? What are we bringing as our experiences? What are we bringing as our teachings and that which we know or we think we know to the reality of a resurrected Christ? That's taking, the concept of just doubt itself into the realm of the spiritual and allowing God to react to us. And I think it's a powerful witness to it. Granted, it's fiction, but it's not far out of the realm of possibility and probability. So.
Well, that's doubt as a process to discovery, right? That's
exactly.
Deconstruction of, we hear a lot about deconstruction of faith, but it's actually the other way around, deconstruction of, our worldview so that we can actually see a true faith in Christ. All right, Wade, I'm gonna give you the last word about trust and doubt, and so you get to send us off today.
I think it's a good thing to be discussing. I think it finds its way across different aspects of our culture. I think the polarization of our culture is, rather than making choices about faith in certain things, we've made choices about doubt. And in large measure because they fit our narrative, not because we believe or disbelieve or that we've even investigated. The thing that's sort of scary to me is when I was growing up, there was always political disagreement and some discord, but it feels like hate a lot of times on either side now. And I think doubt has become, if that's what this is, has become kind of a full contact, almost conflict to the death type of deal. And some of the same people that have always been my friends or people that I appreciate are saying things about anybody who doesn't believe like them that are pretty scary. And to me, it's okay to doubt the correctness of somebody's particular opinions on issues or politics or whatever. But I think what I see going on, especially even with a lot of Christians, is that we've sort of forgotten that we're supposed to love everybody, and there's not a litmus test for that. And so I don't know if that falls into the realm of doubt, but I think if we're not loving everybody by respecting people, whether we agree with them or not, we're at least expressing some separation from God that feels like doubt to me. I think we're more willing to sort of put our allegiance in things that may not emanate from the divine.
Well, and that does tie in something Tom said before, where doubt kind of becomes this mechanism where I don't have to examine what you actually say. I'm just gonna doubt you and keep that barrier, because then I might have to think about things a little more. I might even have to change my opinion. I might even have to admit that I was wrong about something, and we don't want to do that. So we actually kind of hide behind doubt sometimes, and that's when it becomes hurtful. So maybe what we should do is start smelling everyone's armpits. Maybe that would liven us up a little bit. No, that's not a good way to. I mean, that was the criteria for you guys to be on the podcast. You smelled okay.
Smells good.
So,
that's why we meet on Zoom at these times.
Right.
Yeah, we've been in the same room together, and it's not healthy.
I bathed up and perfumed up this morning. You guys would want.
Oh, I'm retired. It's not bath day yet.
Bathing is optional for Tom right now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Your teeth are still white though, so you're still working on those, Tom. I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure as always. So good to be back again and to hear your voices and to listen to your opinions. I appreciate your willingness to talk through some of this. I think it's helpful for us as a church to talk about things like doubt, because it's something we all find ourselves doing at some point, and it's helpful to think about how we can walk through that together. So I appreciate the gift of your time. Thank you so much, Tom. Hope you're enjoying your time off now before you get busy doing whatever it is you'll be doing now, and have a good rest of the week. Brad, good to see you. Blessings, brother. Wade, always good to see you. Stay weird, man. And have a great rest of the week. Everybody else, if there's ever anything you want us to talk about to try to find a Christ-like response to, whether it's armpit smells or doubts, or if it's armpit, we're going to put that email to Brad directly. It's
yeah.
I believe
All armpits.
Yeah, CC all armpit stuff to Bradley DeHaven, St. Luke United Methodist Church.
Hashtag.
Brad,
Hashtag armpit.
Send us a message, whatever, however you want to do that. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of the week. God be with you. We'll see you guys.
Amen. Take care.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Thanks, John.